In the gallant days when history hung on the flight of an arrow or the slash of a sword, when feudal barons ravaged the countryside to live in pomp and splendor.
It is truly colorful, exciting, fascinating entertainment every minute of the way.
Moonsea Adventures.
Hello and welcome back to the Moonsea Adventures Season 2. The group has just arrived at dawn. You guys had a quick smattering of what remaining rations you have and some of your boiled, partially cleaned water. And you've packed up your camp and all of your belongings. The night before, you had an encounter with what you successfully are fairly certain was a will-o-wisp. Largely based on a combination of your arcana, but also the fact that as you encountered it, you were realizing that your conventional weapons weren't doing as much damage to it. And you were able to defeat this threat. But you were fairly certain also that this originated from some point to the east, which at the time of night, you guys weren't able to fully see because it was beyond your 60 feet of dark vision. However, as dawn has arrived, and you have packed up everything, you're about to head out to the north, but you look over in that direction and you think about maybe 150 feet away to the east is another sort of dry sort of island in the swamp. And you actually see a tree. Like there's some swamp grasses kind of growing on this island and around it, as well as a tree in the middle of this island.
Anyone know anything about those dirty little light balls?
Well, not exactly just what they are, but I have no further knowledge.
Given the fact that you encountered these and successfully fought it, go ahead and make Arcana checks.
If we have it, or just make it? Try it.
I'll say you can make a roll even if you're not trained in it.
Okay.
And especially Ushun, because your people, your tribe would possibly know about this because of proximity of living in the Thar. This would not be an uncommon thing. So even just by folklore, you might know about these or have heard about them.
14.
I have just 16.
Okay. That's good enough. So couple things that you recall, each of you. I would say, Harley, from an Arcana perspective, you are fairly certain that the will-o-wisp is a manifestation of undead. That it in an incorporeal form, much like ghosts, but smaller and taking a different form. Ushun, from your perspective, you're fairly certain that your people also would consider will-o-wisp to be kind of like spirits, and usually not nice spirits. The other thing that you would know is that the will-o-wisp originates from a point where someone died, typically.
Let's just not go there.
Oh.
Let's go north. Maybe we can meet up with those lizard folk again.
Well, I've seen my share of evil trees back home, so I'm not going anywhere close that.
Mm-hmm. Although Bill is hoping we will go over there and discover something.
I'm not saying anything.
I may shoot it from afar, but I have to get a little bit closer.
No. Let's go to a possible ally.
Okay.
Easier to deal with than these.
Okay, guys, just pack your things and we'll head north.
Unless you want to send Murmur over to that tree.
Well,
No,
Murmur's about 100 miles south.
Oh shoot,
Right
that's
now.
right.
And I'm already
In fact,
crawling.
as I'll say this, as you say that, Harley, you just kind of almost unconsciously you switch your vision into Murmur, and you could see at the edge, at the horizon of where Murmur's flying, you see the Moonwatch Hills. So he's getting close, and you see the line of trees, the great enchanted trees along that line.
There's more of them.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think I can find the way that I went last night.
Yeah, I'd say lead the way north.
Okay.
Okay, Murmur, let me know if you'll find those soldiers.
Murmur is fairly close. Like, you feel like maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay,
Right.
so I'll retrace my steps, going a little faster now that it's light out.
Okay. It's still cool because it's early in the morning. It hasn't heated up quite yet, so it's still pretty cool. And there's like a low fog over the area.
Now, do we have our water skins filled with water now?
You have your water skins filled with your homemade purified water. Yeah, that's all the water that you have.
It's better than nothing.
As we're crawling through the water, I'm just from now and then I'm looking back on that tree just to be sure nothing's following.
Yeah, you don't see any movement.
Oh,
you know what?
better be
Actually,
careful.
since you're looking back, go ahead and make a perception check.
I'm not a very perceptive person. Okay, that's 8.
You see the tree. It looks like a swamp tree. Tall grasses kind of surrounding the island.
I just pointed the tree and I trust you.
Okay, so Ushun, go ahead and make a survival check. You're going to try to track where you went the night before.
All right, here we go. What do we got? We've got a 8.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know which direction's north. So you are kind of moving in that direction. You guys are traveling now, and your pace is slower because it's difficult terrain. And as you are moving, you're traveling, and you go for about a half an hour. And Harley, you receive a telepathic message from Murmur.
Yes, Murmur.
Master, perceive what I am seeing. You kind of shift your focus, and what you see before you is an absolutely decimated landscape. It looks like the spot that you guys had been led to, where the members of the Moonwatch had been encamped. It looks like the same space, but it is entirely just absolutely decimated. You see the wreckage of this camp. And there are kind of like steam, there's like steam kind of rising from absolutely destroyed, like the all the crates that they had, the supplies that they had, the tents are all just demolished. And it looks like not so much that they were burned by fire, but something it almost looks like they've been melted. And you see even the wood like that has been sundered, and the contents within, even their like iron weapons that they had scavenged, literally like the metal is dissolved. And it is just a ruin. Scattered amongst this decimated camp, perceiving through murmur, you see a dozen bodies, just some of them torn in half, others just melted, like they're through their armor, just completely dissolved.
Okay, guys, I have 2 messages for you. The first one is Murmur found our reinforcements. Well, the bad message is that there was not enough of them. I think we're in this particular shit alone.
As you're saying this and relaying this information, are you still looking through Murmur's perceptions?
Yeah, I'm just talking to.
So you're
everyone.
explaining this to them, but you see through Murmur's eyes, as Murmur's just kind of like basically hovering at a spot at the hilltop overlooking this decimated scene. You see like a shadow, like, you know, when clouds pass over on a sunny day and there's a shadow on the ground, you see like a shadow move over the ground. And then you see Murmur like look up, and you see a very large black dragon flying past. And you see Murmur immediately telepathically communicates to you. It's like, Master, the dragon, it is above me. And you see the dragon actually fly past Murmur towards the tree line and start making this slow arc towards the tree line.
Okay. Another thing. First, the dragon is going to destroy those trees. And the second one, we have to hurry.
How many bodies are lying around?
It's difficult to tell because most of them are torn in half, but you would say that probably about a dozen total.
Well, that can't be the army.
Well, it doesn't matter. We have to be quick.
Yeah.
Whatever we are going to do, we have to be quick. And we have to do it now.
Yeah,
so you see
go.
that Murmur flies and kind of goes over the hills towards the tree line. And as Murmur is, watching this, you, through Murmur's eyes, see the dragon basically just strafe the tree line, spewing acid. You see the trees actually animate and move, and they kind of swing out, but the dragon is probably a good 60 feet above the tallest of the trees, and it just strafes this line. And you see this spray come down, raining down over the trees, and you see the trees start smoking and steaming and dissolving from this massive volume of acid spraying forth from the black dragon's mouth. Murmur asks you, like, what now, Master? What should I do?
And I stand there in just disbelief. Well, okay, I have a quest for you. Return to, I think it was Melvond, wasn't it? Return to the Melvond, to the Night Lady, and tell her our reinforcements were just vanquished. And tell her, for she prays to the Raven Queen for our return. And she has to be safe.
Murmur acknowledges this and begins flying east from the Moonwatch Hills towards Melvond. you kind of disconnect from your vision from Murmur. You guys continue traveling north, and you see that the fog that was just sort of like a natural occurrence in the difference between the swamp temperature and the air is now becoming much, much thicker, more in line with what you initially scouted with Murmur and what you believe to be getting closer to the lair of the Black Dragon. You're going to need to make another survival check.
Yeah, I'm looking for the spot where I tied the grass. Hopefully it's still tied.
Okay.
Oh my God. Natural one.
Okay. You guys are walking in the fog. At this point, not only is it foggy, but there seems to be a lot of cloud cover. So it's still daytime, but you have very diffused light and limited visibility. You've got about 20 feet of visibility in this dense fog. You also notice that there is a significant increase in the amount of flies and mosquitoes, like to where it's almost like a swarm.
I'll cover my face with whatever I have.
Okay.
I'm gonna mimic the sound of flies.
Okay.
Well, that seems reasonable.
You guys continue going north through this as you're, again, moving slowly. You travel about an hour. And each one of you guys needs to make a perception check.
14.
13.
14.
2.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
You found a spot that is like dry ground. And you are walking on this dry ground for a fair amount of time. Although there is tall swamp grass, you're able to actually move through it pretty efficiently. And as you are walking, Ushun, I'm assuming that you're in the lead, right? Because you're trying to retrace where you went the night before.
Well, if I haven't found it by now, I will probably tell them, I don't know exactly where we are. I don't remember this. I think I have become lost, so I will need help.
Okay. Who else has survival? Okay, Syllar, go ahead and make a roll survival check.
I also do.
Okay, both of you guys make survival checks.
9.
11.
Well played. It occurs to you, Angler, that as you guys are walking around this dry ground, that you're fairly certain that you have been here before, like a half an hour ago, and that you are not going north anymore. You feel like maybe you guys were going north, and then at some point you got sidetracked, and you must have somehow looped back around.
All right.
But because you had a successful enough roll, you now know which direction north is.
I'm gonna relay information to the group
Okay.
on my board.
Okay.
That's unfortunate. We should make like marks or something.
No, it's make marks. I'm going to look north, and I'm going to pick what's right in front of me to the north.
Tall grass. There are no trees in this area. You're on dry ground, but it's like tall grass, like 4 foot tall grass.
Okay. I'm going to set my sights on a piece of grass that's 5 feet in front of me and move toward it.
Okay.
And then I keep doing that and I'll check with Angler and Syllar and maybe Harley to see if we're still going north.
Okay.
If we go single file and spaced out like 5 or 10 feet, then we can maintain a straight single line as much as you can.
Right.
Also want to try and cut down some of the grass as we walk to make kind of a path that we can
Okay,
look
for
over
a,
our shoulders.
for a straight line, 3 people are more than enough. And
Yeah.
as they go, I'm tying knots of the grass.
No, just cut it.
I need to know the marching order. Who's up front? Who's second?
I'll be behind. Oh, no, Syllar. I'll be behind Syllar.
Okay, so Angler's third, Harley's last.
I cover Angler.
Okay. Ushun, make a deck save.
Yeah, I knew it.
Oh no.
I'm really good at dexes, you know? Really, really good. Okay. What do we got here? We got 15.
Okay. You are following this procedure, and as you move forward, you kind of start to trip over something. Like it seems like there's somehow a piece of twine that was run along this path.
Yeah.
And you trip over it, and you hear a creaking noise, and just in front of you, an entire 10-foot by 10-foot swath of tall grass tumbles down into a pit. And the pit is 10 feet down, but filled with murky water because it's on swampland. So you avoid falling into the pit.
Okay, I say, hold up. Oh, shoot. All right. We gotta watch out for traps now. I'll bring my halberd out.
Any of us fish folks around?
What?
Should we be checking for those fish folks you were talking about?
Oh, no, they were lizards. If you see one, I've got a name of one. His name was Viz. I wanted to call out, but I didn't want to make too much noise. I mean, we're already making a lot of noise as it is, but
Okay, guys, just help me with the big girl, and I throw her rope.
I'm not in.
Oh, okay.
So in front of you is a 10-foot by 10-foot pit.
Okay.
You see tall grass to the left, tall grass to the right.
Okay, well, I'll use my halberd. I think I have a slashing on it, and I'll outline the pit to see how big it is. You know, kind of cut the grass.
Pit.
Oh,
it's 10 foot by 10 foot.
Okay.
So I'll just take my dagger and slice up, cut off the tripwire.
Okay.
Stick it in my pocket.
Okay.
Ushun, what was the name of that lizard folk?
Viz.
Okay, I shouted out loud.
Oh.
You shouted out in common?
Oh. I shouted out in every language I know.
What languages do you know?
Oh, that's not good. I know Common, Elvish, and Undercommon.
Okay. You shout that out, and there is no response.
Maybe somebody knows.
The name, come on. It's the same in any language. Name is always the same in every language.
I know, but when I'm shouting,
Okay,
like,
whatever.
Wiz, are you there? He may not understand me.
You said whiz. It's this.
See, it's not the same in every language.
Okay.
Okay. So you
Anyway.
are staring at a 10-foot by 10-foot pit that you have not fallen into. There's tall grass on the left and the right, to the east and west.
How about some of us go around the left and some of us go around the right?
I'll head to the right and I'll look for some traps.
Okay.
Like where
I'm
the
heading with.
pitfall is.
Make a perception or investigation check, your choice.
I'm heading with Angler.
I'm
He's a sneaky boy.
13
I'm heading
total.
to the left, but I'm having my halberd out front and kind of moving it up and down.
Okay, you make
And
a
side to
perception
side.
check too.
A what?
You make a perception check as well.
Okay.
So, Angler, during your foray off to the right, you find that you don't see any traps. You can go around to the right and then continue to the north, bypassing this pit.
I'll do that and wait for Ushun to cross on the
Okay.
other side.
Ushun,
9.
okay, you go around to the left, and you also don't see any pit traps.
Okay. Make sure everyone else gets around and we get back into marching order.
Syllar, you are going which way, right or left?
Going the right side and want to check if I can see any tool markings or anything like that. Figure out if I might know who built it.
Go ahead and make either an investigation or perception check.
Oh, perception. It's 12 and 4, 16.
So as you go a little bit further over, you see a poorly constructed corner where the twine that you had collected must have been curled around. And then you see a metal pin that is about a foot long. So it looks like it must have, tripping the wire must have pulled the pin, and that pin was holding some board that was in place. And then once the board was pulled, the entire thing collapsed. It does look relatively primitive, other than the use of the metal pin.
I want to try pulling out the metal pin and tossing it in the pit.
Oh, okay. You toss it into the pit, and it makes a ploop sound.
Yeah.
And about 6 seconds later, the murky water starts to move. Something's underneath the water.
Oh my God. Step back.
Okay, we have to move.
Shout a warning.
Okay, everybody steps back away from the pit.
Yeah, I'm moving as carefully as I can, like 5 feet away from the pit.
Okay.
I'm standing relatively close, but
the
ready
other
to
side.
jump back.
Okay. As you guys are standing there, something bursts from the murky water. And you see 2 very long kind of trunks with spikes at the end grab the edges of the pit, and it starts to pull itself out. And you see this bestial maw, this gaping mouth with fangs and teeth emerging upwards, and this hulking sort of almost like a hippo body coming up after it. It's pulling itself out of the pit. Roll initiative.
Nice. 6.
9.
Harley
20.
with a 9. Who had a 6?
I did.
I got a 21.
There we go.
I
Yeah,
have the reaction ready, remember?
Angler with the 21. What did you have, Ushun?
18.
Okay. Well, Angler, you were at the ready, and you see this thing pulling itself out, and it is large. Your turn.
I'm going to run 30 feet,
That's sensible.
turn around, pull out the short bow, and shoot at it.
Fire away.
9 to hit.
A 9 does not. Well, here's what happened. It hits and it sort of deflects off of the slime, and this thing's kind of tough, thick skin. Like the skin is similar to like a pachyderm, like an elephant or a hippo or a rhino, and the arrow just kind of like bounces off. All right, Ushun, you're up.
Bonus action rage.
Okay.
And let me see. I have my halberd at the ready. I'm 5 feet away, so from where I am, I could still strike it.
Yep.
Let me see. I'm good on that. I'll just go ahead and do one of my hits now. Come on, computer. Okay, so that is natural one.
Oh no. Roll another d20 and tell me what the straight roll is.
$10.
Your halberd almost slips out of your hand. It falls to the ground, but fortunately for you, it does not fall into the pit. This brings us to our friendly neighborhood slimy pachydermish monster, who is going to be reaching out to those who are in proximity for a friendly, spiky attack. So you are victim number 1. Ushun does a 13 hit.
Yes.
Okay. That is dun dun dun. Ooh, good lord. 11 piercing damage as it swats at you with this long tentacle that's covered in spikes.
And because I'm raging, I only get half.
Correct. The second attack is who is actually still near the pit?
Well, I was, like I said, I was standing near the edge and ready to jump back if anything popped out. So I would have jumped out and jumped back. But
Okay.
As I saw it, I tried to run away.
So the second one is a 19 to hit. And that will be on either 1 is Ushun, 2 is Harley, and 3 is Syllar. Harley, 19 to hit.
Yep.
Or 13 damage, spiky spike damage.
Okay.
And it completes itself it completes the movement of pulling itself out of the pit. So it is just north of you now. All right. It is done with its movement and attacks, which brings us to Harley.
I move towards Angler.
Okay.
No attack of opportunity.
So if you go around it using your 30 feet of movement, then you can avoid an attack of opportunity. So you can kind of go a little bit to the east and then north. So now you're kind of caught up to Angler.
Yeah, I'll do that and I'll shoot it from afar.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, that's that's 23 and 13.
That's 1 hit. Go ahead and do damage.
Okay, it's 8 damage.
Okay. It seems to have an impact.
And as my bonus action, I'll hex it.
Ah, well played.
For disadvantage on strength.
Good move. Very good move. Okay. Then, after that, Syllar, you are up.
yeah.
So you move 5 feet back. At this point, you could still move a little bit further if you wanted to play it safe and be out of its reach, and then attack.
Yeah. How close am I really?
So you're on the
10,
side
15.
of the pit, and it's on the north side of the pit. So you're 10 feet away.
10, 15 feet. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna bonus action Hunter's Mark. This big guy. Move back while I'll take out my bow and loosen the shot.
Okay.
Let's see, where's my... There. For 16 to hit.
That is a hit.
All right, so that's my bow. That's D8 plus a D6. 11 plus 13 piercing.
Nice.
And if that's possible, still after the Hunter's Mark to put out a Hail of Thorns.
Is that well,
Or would it be
Mark,
double
what,
casting?
reaction or bonus action?
Hail of Thorns is a bonus action.
You gotta wait till next turn to do
Yeah.
that.
Well, I have 2 attacks, so I can still shoot another arrow. So
Okay.
losing them. Net 1.
Ping. Roll another d20. Tell me what the straight roll is.
That's a 5.
Your bowstring snaps.
Ah, crud.
Good thing you got that twine.
Yeah, that is a good
Yeah,
thing.
but it's
Fair
going to
enough.
take some time to restrain.
Yes. Okay, top of the order, Angler, you're up.
How far is Syllar from me?
Syllar is 25 feet away from you.
Could I theoretically toss him my bow? Or is that too far of a distance?
You can make an athletics check.
Okay, I'll do that. $14.
So, what sound do you make in a mimicking way when you toss this bow?
With the sound of the hippo beast coming out of the pit.
Okay, so Syllar, you hear this sound, you like whip your head over, and just in time, you see a short bow coming at you. Make an athletics check.
13.
Okay, you catch it.
Yay.
And would that have counted as an action or?
I'll say you could bonus action that. You could still do a move.
Okay, I'll run up to try and get near Ushun, up in melee as close as I can.
Okay.
And it was a short bow?
Yes.
Yes, a short bow. And I'll just throw a psychic blade at it.
Okay. Go ahead.
25.
That is a hit.
That is incredible.
Is
5
that
damage.
at 20 or just
No, it's
30? Okay.
18 plus 7.
All right. Go ahead and roll damage.
Not 5.
All right. Ushun, you are up. This thing seems distracted as it's getting attacked from multiple sides.
Great. I deploy my great club, which I have on me,
Okay.
and I'm swinging for the branches.
For the tendril?
If I
Okay.
could, yeah. So first attack is 18.
That's a hit.
Okay, and the damage on that is an 8-sider plus 4. 5.
Okay.
And second attack.
Did you add in your rage damage too?
Oh no. So 4.
7. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the second attack is
Excuse me.
11.
That one's a miss. So you give it a firm hit, and you thwomp the tentacle, and it kind of recoils a little bit. And then your second attack, you swing back, and just the club kind of just slides across the muck of its thick flesh. And it in turn now sends out 2 tentacles. One of them swashing out for a 19 to hit, and the other for a 12 to hit.
At who?
Who's he swinging at?
Both of them are just coming down at Ushun.
Oh. Well, they both hit.
19 and a 12?
Yep.
Okay, so the first
Meet or
one
beat.
is 17 damage.
Okay.
You take 8.
How is the hex affecting him now?
Strength-based, like athletics checks or strength-based things.
Okay.
Yeah, so does it reduce the damage?
No.
Oh.
Hex doesn't affect combat. But it is going to be important because now for the second attack, you're going to take 11, so you only take 5. But you now will be making an opposed athletics check because he is trying to grapple you.
Athletics I can do well.
Now he has disadvantage on that athletics check, which is really good because I rolled a 10 and a 20. So he has to take the 10. So his total for that grapple check is going to be a 13. So you need to beat a 13.
Oh, man.
Did you get grappled?
12.
Oh, no. Did you roll with advantage?
I didn't roll at advantage. I should
you have
do
advantage
that.
because you're raged.
I know. Okay. I thought I did. Okay. Yeah, right. 11.
Okay.
12 is my best.
So, Angler, you're closest, and you see that as these 2 tentacles swamp out, one of them kind of rakes its spikes across Ushun. The other one grabs Ushun, and it seems to have itself wrapped around her. And this brings us then to you, Harley.
Okay. I'll hexblade that bitch.
Attack.
So, and I'll shoot it. So it's it's dirty 20 and 23.
2 hits. Give me that damage.
Okay. Oh, that's bad. No, the first one is 9.
Okay.
The second one is 11.
Okay. Good. Tyler, you are up.
Yep. Trying to be careful with this short bow. Can I see his face or eyes, mouth?
You could see the mouth, the maw, which it's you're on the other side now from where it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it is clear to you from where you can see that Ushun is grappled and that this thing, its jaw is opening up and in that direction.
All right.
As if its intent is to bring her into its mouth and chomp.
Yeah. If necessary, I want to move to get better positioning.
Okay,
And-
you move around to the north side and now you can kind of see it from the side.
Yeah, and try and shoot it in the mouth.
Okay, roll.
11 plus the wrong tab. Plus 5, 16.
That is a hit.
And it's a short bow, that's 2d6. It's 5 into 7 points.
Okay.
And for my second arrow,
Your arrow sticks into like effectively like its lip.
all right. Try and get the same mouth maw again.
Okay.
Ah, crap! Another natural one.
Roll a d20.
Get a 5.
17.
Okay. Your bowstring does not snap. All right. This brings us back to the top of the order. Angler, you are up. And I will say that you are fairly certain that this thing is intending to take a big chomp out of Ushun.
Does she count as incapacitated or just grappled?
No, she's grappled. Yeah. She's still
Okay.
very conscious. You could see that she's like struggling against this thing.
So if I hit it, I could technically get sneak attack from it. Text says
yes.
if you're...
Yeah, because she is... Yep.
And I'll try and distract it with pain. I'm going to stab it with my rapier.
Nice.
I got a 9.
You swipe out towards it, and it kind of just jostles and moves a little bit. Ushun.
Am I able to move the arm that has the great club in it?
No. You are able to try to break the grapple with another athletics check.
Yes, and do I get advantage on strength-based actions here?
Yeah, that's why I said you have advantage, because athletics is a strength-based proficiency, and you're
Good.
ranged. So you get advantage on that.
I will do that right now.
He has disadvantage because of the hex, and I rolled, again, a 19 and an 8. So the 8 is his, which means he has an 11 total for the grapple.
Well, I have a 23.
Aha! And so it is that you break free from this grapple. You still have a bonus action and a move.
Can I hit it?
No.
Okay, I'm going to move
Because your
back.
action was breaking free from the grapple.
Okay, I'm going to move back and prepare to dodge and weave.
Okay, defensive maneuvers noted. Particularly valuable and important because it's now its turn. So it is going to swipe out once at Angler and once at you. Angler does a 11 hit. Okay, Ushun does a 21 hit. Yes. It will hit you for...
She's dodging though, right?
Oh, that's right. Hold on, let me roll another disadvantage then. Okay, so that is a 15. Does a 15 hit?
Unfortunately.
We need to
Sadly,
get you
yeah.
some armor.
No, I'm a barbarian.
19 damage, so you take 9. And that brings us to you, Harley.
Microphone.
You're muted.
There we go. Nope.
I tried to shoot it. I don't have much options.
Okay,
left.
go ahead.
So it's 23 and dirty 20 again.
Yes. 2 hits.
And the first one is 12 damage, and the second one is 18 damage.
Wow. Okay. It takes some serious damage from that blast. Syllar, you were up.
Yeah. Quick question. Can you hold 2 concentration spells at once?
No.
You need a feat for that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no Hail of Thorns then. All right. Well, another... does it have any eyes I can really see? Is that above the mouth?
Not really.
All right. Well, shooting for the mouth again. Trying to get... Maybe hit his brain.
Okay.
Let's see. That was 5, 19.
Yes.
For another 2d6. It's 10 damage.
10 more damage. Okay.
And see if by second arrow will finally work. 15.
Yes, that is a hit.
12 damage.
Okay. It is screeching out, roaring in pain. This brings us back to top of the order. Angler, you're up.
I will try once again. Actually, first I'll move as much in front of Ushun as I can.
Okay.
Try and take some hits for her, maybe. And then I'll try and stab it.
All right.
27. I got a natural 20.
Nice. All right. Using the Bill Allen damage alternative scoring system, max out your first damage die and then roll the additional die and add in. Are you stabbing this or is this a psychic?
This is a stab.
Oh. So what is your total for sneak attack? How many dice do you roll?
3d8.
Okay.
Or 3d6, excuse me.
Don't bother rolling. Just describe how you would like to narratively end this thing's existence, because that's what's happening.
I'm gonna act as if I'm gonna jump in its mouth, but I'm actually just gonna put one hand on one tooth, my feet on the other tooth, and just stab. Try and hit it in the brain.
You jump into its maw, do this epic Jean-Claude Van Damme split, and then stab through its open mouth, and out the end pops your rapier, and at the end of it is an eyeball covered in muck, and it groans. You see the tentacles just flop out to the side and it twitches, and then you jump back, like do a little backflip onto the edge of the dry land, and the thing just collapses, and this huge splash of mucky swamp water and algae just covers everyone else.
Ugh.
And it is dead.
And
Wasn't
then I walk
expecting
away
that to
and
happen.
look back.
Well done. Well done. As the goo settles, you guys see the thing briefly floating in the muck, and then it sorts of, starts to kind of sink.
Hey, Syllar, you got any of that healing magic?
Yeah. Coming on. Sean to run over and let's see here. Do a second level cure wounds.
Okay.
2d8. 8 points of healing.
Okay. And I'll try to bandage some of the pokey pokes up.
I don't think I have any potion of healing anymore.
No, I don't either. Don't worry about it.
I'll still put my potion of healing in Ushun's hands.
No. Keep that for yourself.
No.
Who has the highest passive perception?
Probably Syllar.
14. I only have 14.
I think we all have 10.
Okay, Syllar. You hear, but you do not see. You hear movement, like from the north. Like you hear like movement, and you hear like the swaying of tall grass from the north.
I look
I'm
on
crouching
over.
down.
Look over, and if I can't initially see anything, I'll just take out the spyglass.
Spyglass is useless because you're swarmed by insects and fog.
Yeah. And of course, I notify the guys. I hear something up north.
Okay. As you guys kind of hear this,
And they will probably notice as I'm scanning that area.
you hear movement coming towards you guys from the north.
I'm going to stow my great club and pick up my halberd.
Yeah. I'm going to knock another arrow.
Okay.
I'm gonna move closer, but to try and sneak.
Ooh, good. Give me a stealth check. Harley, what are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to clean myself just a little bit.
I got an 18.
Okay.
Still.
Angler, you are already short. So you drop down lower into the tall grass and almost disappear. And you begin kind of moving to the north slowly.
Much like a raptor in Jurassic Park.
Yes. And you get about 30 feet north of the pit. And you hear the sounds of what you perceive as maybe 2 to 3, could be 4 things moving towards you. And they sound like they're maybe about 30 feet north of where you are. What do you do?
I'm just going to stay hidden.
Okay.
For now.
Syllar, you are standing with the short bow.
Yeah.
Harley, you are wiping slime off of you.
Yeah, I'm just cleaning myself.
Okay. And Ushun.
Got my halberd at the ready.
Okay. Angler, you see 3 lizard men, not sneaking, running past you. Apparently they don't see you. Each of them has shields and spears, and you see them run past you towards the pit.
I'll follow them, and I don't know if I'm allowed to do it, but if I can, I'll hold an attack in case they attack my party members.
All right, you start moving in. At about 20 feet in, away from the pit, you see them crouch down into the tall grass. And they stop. What languages do you understand?
Auran, Common, and Thievescant.
Okay. They're whispering to each other. And you hear one of them's like, and you see they're kind of like looking through the fog, just kind of patiently waiting.
Do I see those guys yet?
Make a perception check. You don't hear any movement anymore.
Perception 22.
Okay, so here's what you see. At just about the edge of your visibility through the fog, you see ever so slight movement of the tall grass. And you think maybe you see one or more figures crouched in that tall grass.
I yell out in common, Fizz, is that you?
Interesting.
See, I can do what Harley does.
There's no response. Smash cut back to you, Angler. You're crouched behind this trio of lizard men, and you hear them whisper again to each other. And as they're whispering, you do hear, and one of them like shrugs, and then the other one looks at the other one, and then they kind of look back towards the pit. Make an insight check, Angler.
Natural one.
You, because of the language barrier, you're not really sure what they're saying, but they are not. They definitely look like they're ready to either attack or defend. Like they have their spears and their shields, but they're not moving forward. And you heard Syllar yell out what he yelled out.
I can't see any of my party members, can I?
Nope.
Well, I'll hold my halberd up in the air with one hand, my right hand, and I say, we are here to defeat Chernov.
In common?
I'll do this in Orcish.
Oh. I actually have to make a roll because I don't know if Okay. So Angler, you hear Ushun say something in Orcish, and you see them like look at each other, and they whisper again in their native tongue, and they're like, they still don't move.
They still look on guard?
Yes. They aren't moving. They still have their shields and spears ready.
I'll bring the halberd down, plant it at my side, and I say, "Come, join us." In Orcish.
I'm just looking into the fog. What? Yes, you guys see something?
Shh.
They don't move, and there's no response from the three of you guys, Syllar, Harley, and Ushun, that are closer to the pit. There's no response.
I yell out in common again. The big monster is dead. We killed it.
You see them still not moving, Angler.
I might have an idea. Let me just make sure it'll work. Hey. I'm gonna use Psionic Whispers on one of them. Because it says, human creature don't need to speak a common language to understand each other.
Okay.
And I can talk to this lizard for 6 hours.
Nice.
So you're going to pick one of them to talk to.
Just one of them.
Okay. What do you communicate telepathically to it?
I'm gonna ask, what are their thoughts on Cherna?
Okay. So, so you see the one that you picked when you communicate this, like he looks at the other two, and then he looks like up, and then you see the other two like look at him, and they're like, and he says like, oh, and then you can tell that he's like thinking about what you said, and he's like, who is this that speaks to me? Like,
I am your conscience.
he's you hear him like in his mind say like, is this a test? Who are you that speaks to me in my mind?
I'm just gonna say this is a test from your god. I don't know anything about lizardmen, so...
It is you, Semyuanya? Semyuanya, you speak to me?
I speak to you.
Okay, while he's doing this, I'm gonna say, okay, enough of this crap. I'm gonna take 2 steps forward, and I'm gonna say in Orcish, this time in Common. We mean you no harm if you mean us no harm.
Angler, you hear Ushun say this. The lizard man that you targeted, though, is not engaging. The other two are kind of just, you see them more on guard and more maybe uncertain. And the lizard man that you targeted, in his mind, is like, Semyuana, are you here to rescue us from the yoke of Cherna? Have you come at last? Have you answered our prayers?
Yes, these are my champions to help rid you of Cherna.
And you see him then like lean over to the other two lizard men and begin like gesturing and like explaining. And you see he's lowered his spear and his shield and he's explaining to them. And the other two seem very incredulous and they're like, huh? And the one that you've targeted is like trying to like they're still whispering, but he's like desperately trying to like communicate to them.
Persuade them.
And I rolled incredibly well. And you see they're like, oh, and they kind of like lower their spears and you see them like the one that you're communicating with sets his shield and spear down and he puts his fist together and he like leans his snout forward towards his fists and he begins like whispering fervently, and in his mind you hear him say like, Semuanya, who have you sent to us that will free us from the yoke of Cherna?
The 4 champions that vanquished this beast in this pit. That was their test.
They speak words to us that we do not know. How shall we know them? How shall we speak with them? How will they help us and free our people?
Keep praying to me within your mind, and I will tell the champions what you would like to relay.
You have our faith, Semuanya. And you see that he stands up. He picks up his shield and his spear, but they're like in a low position. And the other two just kind of look at him, and they're still crouched down. And he walks forward. And as it is happening, he's disappearing from the fog from where you could see him, Angler. And the rest of you guys see a single lizard man walk out. His spear and shield are lower, and he walks out. Make insight checks. Harley and Syllar and Ushun.
8.
16.
18.
Okay, so Ushun and Harley, you sense that he's not in a aggressive posture. His spear and shield are in his hands, but they're low. And you see he seems almost a little bit nervous and tentative. He's walking very tentatively. But he approaches and he stops about 10 feet away from you guys. And he just looks at you and he's waiting.
And I'm standing there with the halberd planted. And I put
Ushun, this does not look like the lizard man that you encountered before. Although...
Yeah. How can I tell the difference?
Frankly, you haven't seen that many, but it doesn't look exactly the same.
I'll put my left fist on my chest and say, Ushun.
I'm gonna try and circle around the party, or like back around to the party.
Make a stealth check.
$24.
Okay. A few moments later, Angler appears, kind of popping up from the grass, and walks up, and you see the lizard man now nervously like look over at you. And in his mind, he's like, Semuanya, are these 4 the champions you have spoken of?
Yes. The bird is Angler. The changeling is Harley. The orc is Ushun. And the elf is Syllar.
And you see, the rest of you guys see, you don't hear anything, but you see this lizard man kind of like look at each one of you in turn. And then he just nods.
I just look on the Angler. You're doing, buddy?
My doing.
And you are called?
I'll relay that. What is your name?
Evek.
Evek. Come.
You see, he looks over his shoulder, and in his mind, he's thinking, Semuanya, shall I summon the other two?
Yes, and any other who would fight for our cause.
You see him look over his shoulder, and he kind of like, he says like, and a moment later, two other lizardmen join. These do not look like Viz either. They are all kind of standing a little tentatively, but their shields and spears are lowered. In his mind, he thinks to himself, Semuanya, what now?
Well, I'll dig around in my pack and I'll bring some dried meat, enough for a snack for 3 individuals.
You do not have that much dried meat.
I don't have that much dried meat. Okay. I'll bring out a snack for 1 individual and I'll hold it in my hands and present it.
She does that. I'll ask Evek if Cherna has allies.
Cherna has many allies. Semuanya, you are our god. You must know of the great and wicked power of the Black Dragon. He has many kobold minions and others. He has enslaved many and taken many prisoners already. He holds our tribe in his cruel claw. Our women and children are languishing.
Would they join your cause?
The kobolds will not betray the dragon. They're weak and fearful. We have only served the dragon to preserve our tribe. He killed many of our great warriors and subjugated the rest of us. There is one amongst us, one who has defied him, but the dragon does not know of this betrayal. But there is one brave warrior among us who has tried to begin a tunnel so that our people can escape.
I'll say, could you call upon this brave warrior?
We can, but we would have to go back. We would have to go back to the ruined castle. Is that why you have sent these champions here? Are they here to help us?
Yes.
I'll change myself into a lizard folk. I have to.
They like step back and they're like, oh, and you could hear in his mind, he's like, strange sorceries. Semuanya, is this one of the champion's powers?
He is a very powerful warlock.
He serves.
He will do well.
And I spread my legs and bow to them.
They kind of like nod. You could tell that they're very impressed. And in his mind, he's like, Semuanya, if we are to go, we must go quietly and carefully. These champions must follow us. There are many traps and also kobold patrols that we must avoid.
I'll relay that to my comrades.
What? You've been talking to him?
I'll nod, but give her a firm nudge. And then say they're ready to.
Okay.
They're ready to follow.
To be
Tell
clear,
them I will go.
To be clear, they're still looking at you guys like you're completely alien. But they seem to be in a non-aggressive posture. And the one that first approached, who identified himself as Evek, he like looks at you and he like waves for you to follow them, and then they turn and they start marching single file. And the other two kind of go in the front, and Evek waves to you, and in his mind he's like, Semuanya, the champions must follow us in a line.
I'll relay the order line, and I'll be right behind Evek.
Okay. So you
You're
guys
gonna go first?
You guys go
Yeah,
in
I'll be
single
first.
file?
Yes, hopefully.
Okay.
So it's Angler first. Who's next? I'll go next. Third?
I'll be bringing up the rear.
Okay.
Okay. I'll be first.
Okay. You guys are proceeding along, and you are quite amazed because you go across certain dry areas, and then you see that the lizardmen take like very sharp turns at specific spots, and then they turn sharply again, as if they sort of know this terrain and know where to go and where not to go. And after about another half an hour, they get to a spot and they all crouch down. And Evek mentally tells you that from here, it is not far, only 100 feet to the edge of the ruins, and that there are many kobold patrols. And he's thinking to himself, he's like, Semuanya, what must we do with these champions? Are we to bring them into the ruins? How will this be believed by the kobolds? The one who has changed into one of us perhaps could pass, but the other three, we could not just bring them into the gates of the ruins because there are many, 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 many kobolds there.
I'll go ahead and cast Psionic Whispers again and include Harley.
Okay.
8 hours this time.
He's like, Semuanya, how is it that you see that we can bring them in? We do not understand.
See if the Warlock can accompany you to do what needs to be done. The others will wait here.
We will bring him in with us, and then what?
Summon that brave warrior. And then we go to Cherna's lair.
You could tell that he is very uncomfortable with this, but he nods his head and he's like, yes, you are our god, and we will follow you. We will bring this one with us. And he motions to Harley, and he does like a follow us. And then the three of them kind of start moving forward, still at a low crouch. Now, one second. How far is your range with this? In other words, once they leave your sight, can you still communicate?
Yes, it's... You can speak with them telepathically as long as you're within 1 mile.
Oh, all right. Well, off they go then.
Okay.
So the rest
Also
of you
whisper
guys...
to Harley just so he knows I'm there.
Okay. So the rest of you guys kind of stay put. Harley, you follow these 3 lizardmen warriors.
Do they have like loincloths or?
They have like light padded armor.
Okay.
It's kind of like a mixture of like pads and hides. You notice that they're kind of moving along, and at a certain point they stand up and they start almost marching, like still in a straight line.
just to be clear, leave all my things behind with the group, and I'll fashion from the clothes in my inventory like a loincloth.
Okay.
Something to resemble them.
Okay.
And I leave all my weapons there.
Okay.
So, Angler, we're gonna wait here and get a pass in.
I'll turn to her and say, right, not exactly a pass, maybe some more warriors.
Good.
So, Harley, you go with these guys and you travel for about 100 feet. And that is when you get to a point where the fog kind of doesn't lift. There's still fog, but the dense fog and the bugs are kind of fewer. And you see before you a rocky hill, like 200 feet. It goes up 200 feet. And at the top of that vision, just shrouded in fog, but you could still see massive man-made stone castle walls. And they point up. And then they begin walking around this huge hill. And you see that they're kind of walking at the edge of a moat. And then they get to an area that you're following them to, and it looks like there's a drawbridge. And you see 24 kobolds just in different positions on both sides of the drawbridge. And you see the kobolds kind of look up at the lizard men, and then they kind of go back to just talking amongst themselves. You follow the 3 lizard men in across this drawbridge, and you begin ascending this kind of slow, winding sort of cobblestone road that looks like it's in great disrepair. It's very worn. And you see some of the castle walls are actually cracked. Some of them have collapsed. And this is clearly, at one time, this was a great castle or fort of some kind, but it is in disrepair. But structurally, much of it still remains. And you kind of follow them up this winding cobblestone path until you get up to where you believe that top of this hill was. And it opens up into a huge courtyard. And in this courtyard, you see a ruined castle that looks like some of it has been maybe repaired. Like you see sort of like some of the stones placed, but not as they were originally built. You see a few buildings that are completely destroyed, just ruined, with like weeds growing through them and stuff. And the lizardmen walk towards the ruined castle. And you see like dozens more kobolds, like all over the place, just milling about in the grounds of this wide open courtyard.
Okay, how are they equipped?
All of them have armor and weapons.
Do I see some?
Most of them seem to have like primitive weapons, but there are a few who look like maybe they have scavenged stuff, like with better weapons, better armor, like short swords, daggers. A couple of them have bows. The lizardmen lead you into the castle. And you go past guards. And they lead you to down this like hallway. And again, part of the walls of the castle in some cases are gone, and there's just like daylight, diffused daylight kind of coming into the hallways of this dark castle. And they get to this large room that seems like it's been made into sort of like a dormitory. You see like a lot of crude like bedrolls laid out. And you see amongst this dormitory, all of the people inside of it are lizardmen. And you see about 24 lizardmen warriors. Angler, in your mind, and Harley, you would hear this as well, Ebek thinks to himself, he's like, Semuanya, we have found our warriors. You want us to to tell Viz of your arrival?
So yes, tell Viz.
You see them go through this dormitory over towards like the very end of it, and you see kind of like a pup tent, like somebody's propped up like a sheet of canvas, and you see there's someone under there, and Evek leans down and he begins whispering, and you see a lizardman kind of emerge from this tent and look at Evek, and Evek's talking with the lizardman, and the lizardman's responding, and after a few moments the lizardman stands up. He grabs a shield and a spear, and he begins following them out. They walk out of the castle, through the grounds, down the winding path, across the drawbridge, and they begin making their way back towards you guys. And all of this took a fair amount of time. So it's been like an hour. But the three of you guys that were waiting back in the spot where they had left you, as you guys are waiting, you see them emerge from the fog. And it is at this time, Ushun, that you see among the three lizardmen warriors and your friend Harley, who is disguised as one, you see another lizardman who is following them. And this one, you're pretty certain, is Viz.
Housekeeping question. Did we have time to take a short rest and maybe do a dice for hit points?
Yes, I will say that those of you who weren't going anywhere, you had an hour to do that, so you can short rest.
Restring that bow, Tyler.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I'll say that you could do that during the short rest.
When I see Viz, I will say, Viz, it's Ushun.
You see Viz like clearly surprised, and he looks at you and in broken common he's like, you are champions of Semuanya?
Gonna look up to her and
yeah, I look at Angler. Yes, we are.
You have come to help free my people.
Look back at Angler a little bit. Yes, we have.
He's like, and he looks over to the other lizardmen and he like rattles off some stuff in their language, and then he looks back at you and he says, we must be swift. The dragon returns tonight. There is no time to lose. Follow me.
Great. All right, I'm ready to go.
And that is where we'll end this episode of the Moonsea Adventures. Haha. Stay tuned to find out what the party does if they are able to successfully form an alliance with the lizard folk and rescue their people from the yoke of the evil black dragon Kierna. Thank you as always for liking, subscribing, and supporting, and we will see you next time on the Moonsea Adventures. Peace out.
Well, hello, and welcome to Blayne Allen World. I am Wizzy, the Wizard. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button, and also watch videos that are over there. Tune in to the next episode of whatever show you are just watching, and watch other shows featuring Bill. He made me say that because he's a narcissist. Okay, bye.